Hello, everyone. Today we have a very special guest with us today. I'm sure everybody would be knowing him, but just to quickly introduce him, he is Vaibhav Hariharan, who is All India ranked second in the January 2021 CA final exam. He's done his BCom from R.A. Podar College, Mumbai, and he has done his articleship from EY in the Stat Audit Department. First of all, thank you so much, Weber, for accepting my invitation and for coming up so soon, which is supposedly your celebrity phase right now.
Thank you so much, Rajvi, for calling me.
So one amazing and a very unique thing about Weber is that he has secured 94 marks in costing new syllabus, which in itself is a path-breaking or a record-breaking thing. So huge congratulations on that too.
Thank you.
So in this video, we are essentially going to discuss about Weber's costing strategy. And if any of you all want to know his general or overall strategy, then I'll link in the description as to the other interviews which he has given, and you all can refer that. So Weber, just like first things first, I basically want to understand right from the beginning, like what was the source material you referred for costing in your first read and in your subsequent read, as in what was your overall approach towards the subject?
Okay. So my first and last material for costing was the institute's module itself.
Okay.
There was no other material which I referred to. The institute's module, the case studies which were put up on the BOS portal, the RTPs, the mock test papers of the institute, and also some chapters from the inter module of ICAI for cost and management accounting.
Oh, so you had referred the inter module also.
Yeah, I went back for standard and marginal costing to the inter syllabus.
Okay.
And I revisited those topics just to strengthen my base and a type of warm up before I begin with the final topics. And then I went on towards CA final module.
Understood. So that is an amazing insight. And I think even personally for me, the institute module was the Bible for costing. I think a lot of students refer the other materials, but this is the only main source which you should refer.
Yeah, actually no other material which is comprehensive is really available.
Correct. Understood.
It's just like people are borrowing from the institute's module itself.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so the first learning is you refer the institute module completely and all the other institute materials, say the RTPs, MTPs, and the case study book and everything.
Correct. Okay. Correct. Yes.
Now I wanted to understand, as in like your personal opinion. I know this differs from person to person, but do you think like a special coaching is required for the subject, or is it manageable to do it by yourself?
The subject can be done by self as well.
Okay.
A coaching is not really necessary for costing. You just need to think from the point of view of a businessman or the owner of a business, such as or someone like a CFO or MD. How would they take a decision when they work on a business? That's what we need to think. And if you already have that bent of mind, then you generally don't need a coaching. It's just about your arithmetical ability when you're solving questions. Basically, costing practical questions it's just general arithmetic. You don't need to learn any specific mathematics or some great thing for that. And coming to the theory part, it's quite related to the strategic management subject which we study at Inter. And it's also really very logical if you go to read it. But if you don't have that bent of mind to think from the point of view of a business, then in that case, a class would help you to develop that bent of mind. And if you have some difficulties with English as a language, then in that case, a bit of classes would help you just in order to develop your ability to understand case study questions.
Correct. Understood. All right. That is a really good insight. Now, I basically wanted to understand, like a lot of people put undue focus on practical or theory. So what was your approach towards the two? Like, did you bifurcate it into practical chapters or theory chapters, or did you treat everything uniformly? And what was your overall approach on that?
So breaking the subject into compartments as theory and practical doesn't do justice to the subject, I feel. If you take up a particular business model, say environmental management accounting, then you should go through the theory first. By go through, I mean just read the theory, try to understand the summary, the crux of the model, and then go solve the sums of that model. whatever is given in the institute's module, the case studies or the practical questions, and try practical and the theoretical aspects, because in the paper, if you observe, there will be no question which is purely practical. You would be required to give a comment on the non-financial factors, or you will be required to give some recommendation, or you will require to evaluate the decision which has already been made by someone who is mentioned in the question. So you need to integrate both the theory and practical part. So if you study it separately, then that won't do justice to the subject as a whole.
Understood. Correct. I completely agree with that also. So the next thing is, a lot of students have been doing the old course PM also for the new syllabus. So did you refer the old course PM, and what is your approach? Like, do you think it's required for any chapters for that matter?
Okay, so actually I didn't refer to the old course PM at all. I remember there were some FAQs in between where the institute had mentioned that there is no requirement to refer to old course PM for SCMP subject. Okay. So I didn't refer to the module, and I was asked this question in a couple of interviews as well before this one. Okay. And they also asked me the same question, and I had not referred to the old PM, but some professors lay special focus on the old PM. Okay. And I really haven't referred to it, so I can't comment on what is the quality of the question or what is the level of questions.
So personally, even I think like they are very much focused on the practical aspect. So say if you consider decision making, then a very, very long sum of relevant costing or something, which is generally not asked in our case. They just ask something, analyze something or interpret something is what they generally.
Correct. Yeah, almost some of the questions are purely theoretical as well. You just need to analyze. You don't even need to compute a single number.
Correct. Yeah. So like our views match on this, that it's not required to refer the old course PM, since like already there is scarcity of time. So it would be advisable not to waste time on that.
Yeah.
Correct. Now I wanted to understand, like, since the first question is always a case study, how did you approach the case study, and what was your preparation for the case study question?
Okay, so coming to the first question part, be it costing or any other subject, I never read the first question in the 15 minutes reading time.
Okay.
Because I anyway have to read it again in detail. So, and I anyway have to attempt it. I don't have a choice. So what's the purpose of using those 15 minutes for reading a compulsory question? I would rather go and read the other 5 questions and decide which 4 I want to attempt. So that's what I used as my strategy. And then after reading those 4 questions, I used to go for those 4 questions first, rather than going for the case study first.
Okay, so that would be your last question, basically, to answer the case study.
Yeah. And the case study used to be answered around the second last or the last. Okay. It was never at the start. And while reading the case study or any other question for that matter, the first focus was always on reverse reading. I used to go and read what is the requirement of the question. Okay. And then basically from the requirement, you generally come to know which business model given in the module you are required to apply. Generally, the name is mentioned. You don't really have to guess which model is required to be used. You get an idea from the text which is given in the case study, or from the requirement itself in most of the cases. So once you know which model you have to focus on, then you can immediately recollect the main features or the main points of that model in your mind mentally, and then go and read the case study. And you can mentally link each point mentioned in the case study with each point which is given in the module. In the theory. And then, so basically the theory which is given in the module, that is like the skeleton for your answer. And the content which is given in the case study, that will form the inputs for the skeleton. That is the structure.
Amazing. Very well thought of approach.
Yeah.
Okay. Now coming back again to Jan 21 exams, we all know that a lot of papers had questions which were not from the module, and which was a big surprise to students. So how did you handle seeing in the 15 minutes most of the questions which were not in the module? Like, how did you keep yourself calm and go about it in a sequential manner or a systematic manner?
Okay, to say the truth, I had given my November 20 exams also for a couple of papers, and then I had to opt out because of ill health and due to containment zone issues. So SFM was the first paper in November 20 where I faced issue which you mentioned.
Yeah.
And frankly speaking, I was not prepared for it. I got a mental shock out of it, but somehow I managed to recover, and I did reasonably well in that paper. Though I don't know the result, I'm confident I did reasonably well. And
Okay.
then I faced the same issue again in January 21, and
Hmm.
again I got the same shock. And really, it's difficult to deal with that at that time. So what you should focus is on solving what you know. The entire 120 marks is not going to be totally difficult. Some pockets in the question paper will be such that they are either repeated questions or they are similar questions to what is there in the module, just with different numbers. Or the answers are quite simple and they are too obvious, and you should not go wrong in those if you have prepared well. So target those questions first. At least 35 to 50 marks of the paper will be like that.
Right.
So if you can focus on that and complete it in the first 1.5 hours, then the rest 1.5 hours you get a cushion to score additional marks if you go right in the remaining questions if you don't know. So basically, in the first 1.5 hours, if you have accumulated 35 to 40 marks, then at least you are confident of passing. And if you are confident of passing, you are automatically relaxed. And when you are relaxed, you can think faster and you can think more clearly.
Yeah, perfect.
So
I think the
that's
same
the
strategy I
strategy
followed for SFM also in November 20.
Yeah, exactly. And this you realize when you solve test papers, when you go through the same conditions before the exam. So solving test papers is also really important.
Okay, so just to add on to a question, like how many papers did you solve for each subject, like in writing in 3 hours, 15 minutes?
Okay, for the practical papers, that is FR, SFM, SCM and DT, IDT, I solved 4 papers.
Oh,
and
wow.
for audit, law and GFRS being an open book subject and there is a scarcity of material for that subject. So for these three papers, I went for 3. For these 3 papers, I went for 3 papers each.
Okay.
For
Amazing. I mean, like you gave the exams 4 times before giving the final exam. That is really commendable.
Yeah. And I got even 1 year to prepare for the exams. So
yeah, so that was again like my next question.
4 papers even in 5 months.
Yeah, correct. So that was again my next question, that you studied for a very, very long duration, like more than a year, because even I had personally studied for a year for November exam. So how did you like keep up the momentum and keep calm and, not get bogged down by studying a lot every day?
Okay, so the best way not to get bogged down is to keep taking breaks. So in every 15 days, I had this one day where I used to not study at all.
Wow.
In every 15 days, I used to take a break. I used to do whatever I want other than studying. It could be watching movies or reading novels or watching TV series. Going for a walk or going outside was out of question because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But anything indoors other than studies could be done. So every 15 days, I had one such day. And whenever a postponement used to come, it used to put a speed breaker to your studies.
Correct.
So I used to feel that when a speed breaker comes, you should not try to struggle against that speed breaker. Don't try to accelerate your studies at that time. Take a pause, take a break of 3 days. Don't study at all. Just sleep if you want to. And then you will come back fresh from the 4th day to restart your studies.
Amazing. So now, like hopping on to SCMP again, like, do you think there is any additional thing which is required before your studies, that is during the articleship period, if you do something that will help you set the base right for the subject?
Okay, so basically what I would like to suggest is if you have opted for classes for the subject, then ensure that you attend all the classes and you complete the classes before the study leave begins. And when the classes are going on, it would be better if you could jot down what you find important or what you find difficult at the time of attending classes itself. Write your own notes in the margins or somewhere in your notebooks, just as a reminder for what you find difficult or what are your weaknesses. So that would really help. And it's not necessary that it has to be technical. You could just scribble something in Hindi or in your local language or in your mother tongue as well. The basic purpose is that you understand. It doesn't matter in which language you write, or you could write it anyhow. only you have to understand what you have written. So I would rather suggest that instead of going for detailed study before the study leave begins, focus on attending classes, trying to understand the concepts, and to make note of what all points you need to focus on during the study leave. And yes, if you can go back to your inter chapters of costing, especially in standard marginal and in operating and process costing. These were the 4-5 chapters which I revisited. The material labor overheads part I didn't revisit because I didn't find that relevant. So if you can go for this 4 to 5 chapters during the articleship period itself, then it would be really helpful, especially if costing was not one of your strong subjects during intern.
Correct. Yeah. That is like a really good thing, that you should focus on your classes, plus you should refer the inter-study material. And
True,
another
yeah.
point which I would like to say, like in case there is somebody who is struggling with English or with framing answers, you could probably read business newspapers or something during your free time during articleship. I think that will help you construct the theory answers in costing really well.
Yeah, that's a really great input. I never thought of it because I never faced that situation.
Yeah,
And
but I
yes,
think
you
a
could
lot of
also sit
people
with a
do.
dictionary. Yeah, you could also sit with a dictionary when you are reading a case study in case you have a difficulty in understanding a couple of words here and there.
Yeah, agreed. So thank you, and just need one last parting thought from your side to the students who are going to appear in the 2021 exams.
Okay, so for the May 2021 exams, it is 6 plus 30, 36 plus 20, just 56 days left. And you have 7 papers to prepare for. I'm assuming the open book gets done automatically. It doesn't take much time. So it is 7 papers and 8 days per paper. So these 8 days, make it count, study well and with discipline, and don't go overboard with your studies as well. Try to cover as much as possible from the syllabus and try to practice as many questions as you can, especially in questions related to audit and law, where you need to understand what the question asks. That becomes a challenge in such subjects. So reading and understanding the requirement of the question is important in these subjects. And as far as SCMP is concerned, stop fearing the subject and try to understand why you're learning the subject. If you fear a subject, you are bound to be bogged down by that fear. And this I'm saying out of personal experience during inter, where I was afraid of audit and ITSM.
Okay.
So overcoming the fear is important.
And a lot of students have been like facing this fear of costing. I don't know why, but they have this preconceived notion that it is a very difficult paper to crack. So I think we have to break that myth and keep studying with a positive mind.
We just need to break the ice with the subject, and then it can do wonders. It's a really interesting subject, especially if you want to start up a business in future, or if you plan to run a family business or any other kind of enterprise in future.
Amazing.
So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rajvi, for giving the opportunity.
This
Hope this
video really helpful. Yeah, I'm sure it will help a lot of students. In fact, many students were asking me for this strategy, but I thought it would be very little of me to say when I scored 69 and you scored 94. So I thought it would be better if we have an expert to guide us.
Yeah, and the score is just a number, and it can differ every time you give the exam. It can differ at different points of time. There are several factors. Even luck is involved. And it's an undeniable fact in CA exams.
So I think the main thing is you just keep going and give your hard work and leave everything. I think it will all fall into place ultimately.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. It was really wonderful.
Thank you so much, Rajvi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.